Greetings, everyone. I call this regular meeting to order at 7 p.m. on February 15th, 2022. I ask visitors please stand and help with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please with roll call.
Roll call. Supervisor Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilwoman Freeman.
Present.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just some remarks on my end. I met with County Executive Adam Bello this morning. It was a productive talk about things going around in the county and in here in Irondequoit. So we had a great talk. As for what's happening, the Assessor's Office is hosting a 2022 reassessment project update meeting on February 24th at 6:30 p.m. You can watch it on iCat or Facebook Live. There's a limited in-person viewing at the Broderick Room by reservation only. Please contact the Assessor's Office to book a spot for that. The Irondequoit Conservation Board is hosting an informal presentation on gypsy moths this Thursday, February 17th at 7 p.m. in the Broderick Room here at the Town Hall. In honor of Black History Month, the Erase is hosting a pop-up event at the Community Center on Saturday, February 26th at noon at the Community Center. So get to know some of our black-owned businesses in the community by stopping by and visiting vendors. Also, there will be some book readings for children. We also have the Art Club here tonight. We'd like to honor them with a proclamation and thank them for all their work that they do here in the town of Irondequoit. So if they want to come up for a picture and a presentation of the proclamation, we'll do that now.
It's going to be a funny picture with all of us with masks on.
All right, this proclamation from the town of Irondequoit, whereas the strong community is made up of many individuals, families, organizations that reside within the help comprise the fabric of that community, and tended to such concern, the town of Irondequoit is justifiably proud to acknowledge the contributions and achievements of such individuals and organizations. Irondequoit is proud home to many civic-minded organizations who often work collaboratively to advance collective good by helping neighbors and others. The Irondequoit Art Club, founded in 1958, and whose purpose was to bring artists and area together to work in medium of their choice, was one of the first town art clubs to be established, and the group was and still is open to all, from beginners to experienced artists, and continues to grow from its initial membership of about 30 individuals, now numbering over 90 artists. And the IAC hosted many well-known visiting artists to give presentations and demonstrations to members of the community in general. And the IAC holds yearly shows, exhibits, and various community sites, including the Irondequoit Town Hall, where rotating art displays capturing the talent within the beauty of our community occur throughout the building. Now let it be resolved that we, Supervisor Rory Fitzpatrick, and the Town Board, on behalf of the entire town of Irondequoit, do hereby recognize the Irondequoit Art Club and thank them for their commitment toward instilling in others a love and appreciation of art, and their commitment towards making a better community here in Irondequoit. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Hi, everyone. I want to thank the town. We really appreciate their support. Like he said, the club's been around since 1958, and I'm a fairly new member in the last 5 years, but we're always looking for new members. We try to put on 2 big shows each year. We have a spring art show that's judged artwork. That'll be in April. And then the fall art and craft show. They're both held in the library. And we missed 2 years because of COVID. But we had our fall show this past November. And we hope that you enjoy the artwork. And if you know any artists, send them our way. And we'd be glad to, have new members always. Thanks so much.
Okay, we have 4 public hearings tonight, scheduled for tonight, the first of which will begin at 7:35. The first hearing is concerned granting a special use permit for 1825 East Ridge Road. The second hearing concerns adopting improvements to the town ethic laws. The third hearing will accept public comments for the town's community development block grant program. Finally, the fourth hearing relates to authorizing a partial tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. Sign-in sheets are available. If you do not sign in, you can still address the board during the public hearing. With that, I'll move on to public input. Do we have anybody tonight? Okay, 1 second. All right, we have one person signed up. So would Leslie, I apologize, I can't read the last name. Is Leslie here to please approach? No, no, you didn't sign in. This is just for public input. You can still talk. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Leslie Harvey, Vice Chair for iCare, and happy to be here tonight. Just wanted to take this opportunity to really speak to our group about things that we need to do in order to help move our town forward. I'm just very concerned about some of the things that we're seeing or have not seen to move our organization or to move our town forward. I know back in June of last year, we granted we gave a grant to the Urban League of Rochester, and I'm just curious as to why we have not moved forward with those monies to the Urban League to help create equity and inclusion in our town in regards to home ownership. And I just want to encourage us to do the things that are necessary that really will help our town be a better place to live. And we, for whatever reason, have just held some things up, and it really concerns me greatly. Here we are celebrating, or supposed to be celebrating, Black History Month, and there are some things that are just not happening. And it really concerns me, and it saddens me that this is where our town is, to the point where we have an elected official possibly with litigation against our town. And that's a huge concern. We got to be better than what we're showing right now, folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alex, do you want to?
I wanted to read a definition from Wikipedia real quick.
Mr. Worth, could you please state your address?
Oh, sure. Apologies. Alex Worth, 7 Ontario View Street. This definition is for placemaking. Placemaking is a multifaceted approach to the planning, design, and management of public spaces. Placemaking capitalizes on a local community's assets, inspiration, and potential with the intention of creating public spaces that promote people's health, happiness, and well-being. It is political due to the nature of place identity. Placemaking is both a process and a philosophy that makes use of urban design principles. It can be either official and government-led or community-driven grassroots tactical urbanism, such as extending sidewalks with chalk, paint, and planters, or open streets events such as Bogota, Colombia's Ciclovia. Good placemaking makes use of underutilized space to enhance the urban experience at the pedestrian scale to build habits of locals. And I read all that because I wanted to lead into some accolades for the Winterfest that the town put on more recently. My family and I attended along with some neighbors, and we were really blown away by how well everything was thought out and planned. And we had a wonderful time, and we had other neighbors on our street also come up to us and talk about it and discuss how wonderful it was. And really, I just wanted to say that a job well done to everybody who contributed to that in the planning and execution. And that event should really be used as like a guiding star for some of the things that we do in town. It was wonderful. I want to circle back on something that I had proposed a couple, maybe 2-3 months ago, now that we have the Supervisor Fitzpatrick here, and that was forming an ARPA committee. I know there's money that are left to be spent for that federal funding, and in kind of talking with neighbors and other folks about the CDBG grant funds that are going to be discussed later today, it seemed apparent that a lot of great ideas were coming in, and I wanted to make sure that the town's taking advantage of all those and hearing the public out. I appreciate Leslie's comments on eye care, and I do believe that we could always be doing better. And I could be wrong. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know if the board will address this afterwards, but I believe that the Urban League issue was denied based on some consulting work that an outside firm did for us. But it was proposed also in connection with Councilwoman Freeman's housing initiative that we form a land bank, and I think that all of those things are still on the table. It's just a matter of how we end up funding them, or how the resources we use in order to get those things going in Irondequoit. But I'm looking forward to those progressive ideas hitting the rubber hitting the road, as we say. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Anybody else like to address the board? Okay, public input is now closed. We may move on to the financial report. We have 2 financial reports. Madam Comptroller, please provide the first financial report.
Thank you. In this report, I am presenting a preliminary look at the 2021 financial results for the town as of December 31st. The 2021 books will not close until the end of February to allow for receipt and processing of outstanding commitments and to account and properly book the remaining revenue that is owed to the town. Again, during the March Town Board meeting, I will present the most current 2021 preliminary results along with the respective 2022 monthly financial report. At the June Town Board meeting, the town's auditors from the Bonadeo Group will present highlights of the audited 2021 financial statements and audit report. The 2021 financial results as of December 31st. 100% of the year has elapsed and the town's total expenses are lower than budget at 98.8%, a sum of $38,277,000. Encumbrances are $1,143,000 and actual expenses total $37,134,000. The actual expenses alone equate to 95.8% of budget. Encumbrances are still an important part of the town's outstanding commitments. The general fund expenses are below budget at 96.8% or $23,236,000. The actual expenditures are 93.4% of budget or $22,416,000, while 3.4% is due to encumbrances of $820,000. Included in the general fund encumbrances is $135,000 for vehicles and equipment and $82,000 for ICAT equipment upgrades. Overall, the expenses in the highway funds are above budget at 110.2%, a total of $6,242,000. The costs in these funds result from considerable expenses and encumbrances for salt, gas, and paving as anticipated. The overage of expenditures results from additional paving and will be offset with a rollover of 2020 CHIPS revenue. The library expenditures are favorable at 98.6% of budget, a total of $2,649,000. Expenses in the sewer fund of $4,019,000 are below budget at 96.6%. The stormwater drainage expenses are approximately 97.3% of budget, a total of $913,000. Regarding the entire town revenue and appropriated fund balance of $37,380,000, or 101.1% has been documented to date. The general fund has recorded revenue of $22,425,000, 99.8% of budget. Real estate tax of $11,800,000 has been collected. 101% of payment in lieu of tax revenue of almost $270,000 has been received. 8 months of sales tax revenue in the amount of $4,418,000, or 92.8% of budget. Included in other sources of revenue is the AIM-related payment of $613,000 and the sale of real property. At month end, the library has confirmed revenue of $2,660,000, 100.6%. 107.1%, or $5,967,000 of revenue has been recorded by the highway funds. 99.8% of sewer fund revenue of $4,073,000 has been verified. Stormwater drainage has received 97.6% of its budgeted revenue at $869,000. In addition, American Rescue funds of $11,227,000 were received in May. A second payment is expected in May of 2022. The use of this funding is restricted for the response to and relief of COVID-19 and can be used to cover costs incurred through December 31st, 2024. To date, approximately $5.6 million has been allocated to projects. A special revenue fund has been established to account for these funds. This concludes the second preliminary year-end financial report for 2021.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a motion to accept the financial report.
Move.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the first financial report is accepted. Madam Comptroller, please provide the second financial report.
Thank you. The second report are the results for as of January 31st, 2022. Total expenses, actual as well as encumbered, are $4,960,000, or 12.4% of budget, higher than the 8.3% of the year that has elapsed. The breakdown is actual expenditures, $2,164,000, and encumbrances, $2,796,000. Encumbrances are typically high early in the year as departments are committing to services and supplies that will be needed throughout the year, and outstanding prior year encumbrances roll into the new year. The general fund expenses are at 13.5% of budget, or $3,375,000. The breakdown is actual expenditures, $1,494,000, encumbrances, $1,880,000. Together, the expenses in the highway fund are $504,000, or 8.7% of budget. Library expenditures are under budget at $178,000, or 6.3%. The sewer fund expenses are 14.6% of budget, equating to $600,000. The expenses in the stormwater drainage total $108,000, or 11.6% of budget. The general fund revenue received is $5,363,000, or 22.2% of budget, and includes real estate tax revenue of $4,448,000, or 37.7% of budget, as the tax collection period is not complete. $32,000 of recreation revenue has been received, approximately 3.7% of budget. Regarding the entire town $9,565,000, or 24.6% of revenue has been received to date. Approximately $6,600,000 of the amount received is real estate tax, equating to 36.9% of that line item. The library has received $967,000, or 34.7% of its budgeted revenue. 27.2%, or $1,537,000, is in for highway funds. The sewer fund has received $1,368,000, or 34.3% of that fund's budget. Stormwater drainage receipts of $320,000, or 36.5% of budget, have been received. This concludes the financial report for the month of January 2022.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Any questions or comments on the second one?
No, thank you.
Okay. I'll take a motion to accept the second financial report.
Moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the second financial report is accepted. Okay, we'll move on to approval of minutes. Madam Clerk, we have some minutes.
Yes, we do. We have 3 sets. January 4th, 2022, the organizational meeting.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, waiting to, motion to approve.
Moved?
Second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, these minutes have been approved.
January 11, 2022, the workshop meeting.
Okay, motion to approve.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? Comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, minutes are approved.
January 18, 2022, the regular town board meeting.
Okay, motion to approve.
Moved?
Second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Revisions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Yeah,
Mrs. Supervisor, I would like to abstain. I believe I need to.
staying on this one? Okay, thank you. Okay, these minutes have been approved. Okay, move on to items for board action.
All right. Item number 5, authorizing the appointment of a temporary full-time office clerk 3 in the Arundecoit Police Department.
Okay, Chief or Jason, want to take this? Jason?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. After conducting numerous interviews, the department recommends the hiring of Tabitha O'Connor for this vacancy. Tabitha is required to take the next exam for this title and score in the top 3 to be eligible for a permanent appointment.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved?
Do I have a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, any question, or, any questions, comments? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, this resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 6, authorizing the appointment of a full-time office clerk 3 in the town clerk's office.
Okay, Barb?
This is with vacancies in our department, we were posting for a full-time office clerk due to a move from a departmental internal move. And this gal is Linda Marciano, and she has started. She took the exam and was placed in the top 3, and we were able to reach her. That position did have several other people interested, and she was recommended, Linda Marciano. So she has started and doing wonderful.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted.
Item number 7, authorizing the permanent appointment of 2 acting police lieutenants to the permanent title of police lieutenant.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved?
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, explanation, Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This would approve the permanent appointment of Andrew Whitaker and Ken Gorton to the rank of lieutenant. They've been serving in that position since October of 2021, 2020. We finally had a test in October of 2021, and the results came back, and they were both scored where they were immediately reachable, and thus being provisional, this would make them permanent in their positions and solidify our command staff at the police department.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
because I have a friendship with one of the officers, I will be abstaining.
Thank you very much. Okay. This resolution been adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 8, authorizing the appointment of a part-time cleaner to the Building Maintenance Department.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. This is Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you.
After several interviews, Building Maintenance Foreman Soto would like to fill a vacancy for a cleaner at the library in the evening. It gives me great pleasure to bring forth the name of Robert Wilkinson to fill this vacancy.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 9, authorizing the hiring of a deputy receiver of taxes and assessments.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. Barb?
All right. Due to a vacancy in the office, we did post for this position for the Deputy Receiver of Taxes and Assessments. We have a candidate. Her name is Sharita, and she is available to start March 7th to fill this spot. And we're really looking forward to it because it's been empty for a little bit, and it's tax season.
Any questions, comments? So I'll make a comment. Obviously, with tax season, with the clerk's office being short-staffed, we've had to get some help from other areas, and we appreciate that from Diana and Courtney up in the comp controller's office. So thank you to them. So, any other comments, questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 10, authorizing the appointment of a part-time office clerk 4 in the assessor's office.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize the appointment of Kira Losi to the part-time clerk's position, which is currently vacant in our office. We're looking forward to her joining our team in the middle of March. This is a budgeted position.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 11, authorizing the appointment of a seasonal part-time office clerk 4 in the town clerk's department.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Barb?
Okay, again, we have a seasonal part-time office clerk filling a vacant position in our office. The gal is a town resident, and she is a student looking for a part-time job. Her name is Olivia Sharaba. That might sound familiar to some of you. And we're looking to have her start as soon as she has finished her orientation. It's part-time strictly for tax seasons.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item number 12, authorizing the appointment of a Commissioner of Public Works.
All right, this is mine. So we are very lucky and fortunate to be bringing forth Erin McGee for this position tonight. I think it's a great accomplishment for her and for the town of Arundequoit here. So we're very proud to bring this to bring Erin in front of us tonight, and we look forward for years of working together and continuing to grow as a town here. So any questions or comments?
Need a motion?
Oh, sorry. I jumped ahead. I was so excited for Aaron. I jumped right ahead of that, so I apologize. Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question and actually a comment.
Yep.
Well, I think Erin does an awesome job. She's been a good asset to the team. I was wondering a couple of things because I noticed that this was a new resolution that was added yesterday. I was just wondering if we canvassed out for this or no?
Yes, we did. We did have some interviews. We added it last minute to, as we completed our interview process. And Aaron had overwhelming support from all levels of the DPW. And I thought it was important to establish her as the leader of that department as soon as possible. So I did put this in tonight instead of delaying it another month so that our DPW can solidify that role going forward.
Not surprised that she had the support. I believe everyone up here supports her. Just was concerned that I didn't realize that we had canvassed this out.
Yes, yeah, we did. So at this time, I'd like to, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution been adopted, and if Aaron wants to stand up right now and take a round of applause.
Come on. All right.
So congratulations, Aaron, well deserved. Okay, next item.
Item number 13, authorizing the supervisor and assessor to enter into a plan for cyclical reassessments with New York State Department of Taxation and Finance Office of Real Property Tax Services.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So when the town conducts a reassessment project, in order to be eligible for state aid, we have to enter into a cyclical reassessment plan with the state of New York, and this resolution authorizes us to enter into that plan.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 14, declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Diana's gonna take this one.
Thank you. This resolution will declare 39 chairs from the town hall building as surplus. The chairs have been replaced for the safety of the employees.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Can I just thank Mr. Perticone for his work on this? Because this is a little thing, but it's really a big thing. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, next item. 7:30.
Okay.
Got a couple.
Yes.
I think we have 2 minutes. I think that clock's a little fast. It's up
Okay,
to the.
we'll get one more in. One more in.
Item number 15, calling for a public hearing on the matter of granting a special use permit for 2841 Culver Road in an R1 residential district.
Okay, motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, this is Donna or Michelle's here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is for calling for a public hearing for a special use permit to operate a nonprofit organization at 2841 Culver Road. The Arundequoit Community Cupboard is proposing to purchase the parcel and operate at this location. Under Town Code Section 235-8B1A states offices and facilities associated with a nonprofit organization in the RR, R1, R2, and R3 residential districts are permitted only if a special use permit is granted by the town board. The proposed action will fall under a Type 2 action pursuant to seeker due to the action does not meet or exceed any of the thresholds, and therefore the town board determines that further environmental review pursuant to seeker is not required.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments? All right, with that, I'll ask, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. All right, this resolution has been adopted. All right, we'll move Madam Clerk, at 7:35, could please call our first public hearing?
All right, public hearing number 1 on the matter of granting a special use permit for 1825 East Ridge Road in a M manufacturing district.
Okay. Motion to open a public hearing?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, can we get an explanation from the, or nope, sorry, do we have to, all in favor, say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this hearing is now open. Could the Department of Community Development provide an explanation, please?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution is for the approval of a special use permit to occupy a portion of the first floor as an apartment, which is required under Town Code Section 235-36.1J. The Planning Board reviewed this referral at their January 24th meeting and offered a positive referral, as well as the Fire Marshal's Office reviewed the proposed alterations and found the proposal to be compliant with the 2020 Building Code of the State of New York. This special use permit is classified also as a Type 2 action pursuant to seeker and does not meet or exceed any of the threshold, and no further seeker review is required.
Okay, thank you. We do not have anybody signed up. Is there anybody that would like to speak on this? All right, so at this time I'll open it up for discussion. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? All right, I'll now take a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, can we now move on to the public hearing item for action, item PH1, please?
Item number 1, approving a special use permit for 1825 East Ridge Road in an M manufacturing district.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Michelle, any other explanation? We're good.
I believe we're good, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Thank you. This resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, could you please call the second public hearing?
Absolutely. Public hearing number 2 on the matter of adopting a local law to improve the ethics law of the town of Arundequite.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay, this hearing is now open. Could the attorney of the town provide an explanation, please?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As the board is aware, we've been working on this legislation since the organizational meeting. So just to give the board a brief recap of the timeline, on January 4th, 2022, Councilmember Romeo introduced this proposed legislation, and it was the legislation was introduced. She called the public hearing. The town board then called the public hearing for today's date. The town board met on January 11th, 2022 for a workshop meeting, and the board provided some comments and feedback on the draft legislation. We then revised, meaning me, revised the draft legislation in February, and then we workshopped it again on February 8th, 2022. So I'll just go through and provide a brief explanation of each section of the proposed legislation, and then open it up for comment. So the proposed law has 9 sections. Sections 1 and 2 state the legislative purpose and the authority for the local law. Section 3 relates to matters of recusal and abstention. It requires town officers and employees to recuse from deliberations and abstain from voting or acting on matters in which they have a personal or a private interest. As currently drafted, the town's ethics law, which was enacted in 1990 and amended in 1998, only squarely prohibits town officers and employees from having interests in contracts with the town or similar dealings. It does not address situations where an officer stands to receive, or a private organization he or she owns or leads, financial or material benefits. This section would establish that these types of complications are in fact deemed to be conflicts of interest and would require town officers and employees to recuse and abstain from acting on those types of decisions. Importantly, it also sets up a chain of succession so that if an officer or employee can't act on a given matter, their colleagues will be empowered to do so. This section was modeled after Section 6 of the New York State Comptroller's Model Code of Ethics for Local Governments. Section 4 prohibits the use of one's municipal position or influence for personal gain or for the gain of a private entity, subject to certain exceptions. This section was based on Section 4 of the Comptroller's Model Code of Ethics for Local Governments. Section 5 prohibits the use of municipal resources for personal or private gain, subject to certain exceptions. For example, the section allows the use of municipal resources as authorized by law, policy, or specific authorization by the town board, or the minor use of phones and computers for necessary personal matters. The section also prohibits overspending on travel and lodging. This section was based on Section 12 of the Comptroller's Model Code of Ethics for Local Governments. Section 6 requires decorum at meetings and provides that meetings will be subject to Robert's Rules of Order, except where reasonably impractical. It also requires members to endeavor to deliberate in a civil and decorous manner, free of personal attacks. Finally, Section 6 bars the use of abstentions, except where there's a conflict of interest, and this section was modeled after General Municipal Law, Section 801. Section 7 establishes annual trainings for the town board and directs the establishment of a town board resource library. There's currently not a funding line for these resources in the town budget, so it recommends that the town board consider adding resources in its next annual budget. This section was modeled off of recent ethics amendments to the Public Authorities Law and also Town Law Section 267, which imposes similar requirements for zoning boards and planning boards. Finally, Section 8 and Section 9 are a severability clause and the effective date.
Okay, thank you. I'll call first speaker, Jenny Lee. That's,
Do we have the right sign-in sheet?
that says for the,
That was the first one.
local law to approve of ethics.
I suspect that was the applicant for the special use permit.
That's what it was too. Yeah, she's not here. She's
Not here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else wish to speak on this? All right, thank you. I'll now open up for discussion. Do we have any discussion? Oh,
Mr.
sorry?
Supervisor, I think we
Yep.
have,
Go ahead, state your name and address again.
Alex Worth, 7 Ontario View Street. I just wanted to say I think this is a wonderful update to the town's code, and you know, people coming into public office aren't necessarily coming from a law background or have that. You can never really know all of the ethics complications that can come into a situation as a public official. So I think it's wonderful that the town's taking steps to update its code in this way.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
I have one comment.
Yep.
I would like the board to consider a minor amendment under training, particularly to the sentence under paragraph A, where it states such trainings may be conducted and intended to be in person, via video conference, or via the internet. I would like to have the board consider the following: if self-directed learning, could be added to that sentence. And by definition, self-directed learning refers to the form of training where the learner takes responsibility for managing his or her own training, from content to timing and delivery. And I think that it gives a little bit more flexibility to the types of training that might be considered as a town board member.
Okay, that's it. All right, anybody else?
Yes, I would like to make a comment. As I have stated before, first I got a question. Andrew, this section 7, if I am correct from my understanding during the workshop meeting we had last week, that this is not part of ethics? Is this something that's totally separate from the ethics law?
that's right. This section was initially under Chapter 20 of the Town Code, which is the Ethics Code. Based on the feedback of the board at the workshop, we moved it to Section 36 of the Town Code,
Okay.
which relates to conduct at meetings.
Okay, I just think it's important for those who are in the audience and those who are watching, because what we're not saying is, we're not saying that not getting training is unethical. Second, I'm going to restate, as I have stated before, that this is redundant. As each member of this board knows, the Association of Towns, which is a statewide association of all town governments and their leaders, provides annual training throughout the year, with one conference in January that is for newly elected officers, and that is a 3-day training. And then again, there is a 3.5-day training that's offered in February along with the annual meeting, and there's trainings throughout the year. There are also trainings that can be taken online as well. In addition, the Comptroller's Office also offers training for elected officials, particularly supervisors training, which they just had. So I think this is just a little redundant that we are going to add on to that. I think it's something that we should include, that the trainings can be can be administered from these agencies, and they should be a part of it. To be quite specific, there is a certified elected official training. There's a certain amount of credits that you get per year that you're there, that Association of Towns get. I think they are better equipped than I know I am, and I'm not quite sure for the other board members, to know what exactly constitute training that we need to have.
And I'll just clarify for the board, Section A of that section expressly allows the use of the comptroller's training and also any training provided by the state. It doesn't expressly state that the Association of Towns can be used. That's because it's a private organization. We didn't want to favor one private organization over another in an ethics bill, but certainly that training would also qualify for the requirement.
But Andrew, getting back to that, you're also saying that it will be the supervisor and the town attorney who will deem each year what that training would be. And I think that that should lie with the board. We should come up with a list of 10 or 12 trainings that we should do, and expect people to do a certain amount of those trainings each year. So once again, I'm going to ask that we go back to the drawing board a little bit more on this and think about this a little more.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Well, first and foremost, obviously, this has been a long time coming. I think we definitely need an update on the ethics, no doubt about that. As far as training, I mean, I would leave it in, you know, if the supervisor or whatever, we come up with certain kind of training that we want to do throughout the year, or if we find something that we may think that would be applicable to what we do up here, I think that is fine. And I don't know if that's something Pete's talking about on your own. If you find something on your own and you think run it by the board or the supervisor, if you think that's okay to take. I mean, there's a lot of training, variety of things that we could all, as town board members, do. So I think as it states, if that's something Pete's talking about, if it's something that we can just do on our own, find a training that we'd like to do, run it by the supervisor, and then bring it up to the town board or the attorney, I think I would be okay with that. As this sits right now, this ethics, I think it's ready to go. I'm in support of it as it is right now, and thanks for the hard work that's been up to this point to do this. So I'm okay with it right now. If Pete wants to talk about something that maybe it's not on the board that we're thinking about that you want to get training for, I'm all for if you find something. I'm okay with that.
This doesn't prohibit online or virtual training, correct?
No, I mean, basically it allows people to learn and train in ways that we may not see fit and appropriate in different ways. So, I mean, whether, I used an instance of, is a ride along with the police department appropriate, or sitting in on roll call, or visiting with the DPW, is that, to understand more of their operations, or, attending conferences that may not be thought of at this point. I found that, the further you went in education, the less and less you were taught by teachers or in, formalized instruction, and the more and more you were taught, on your own and by learning and researching things that are appropriate or that you might lack or find that you can, help yourself in your task at hand. So I think it's just a minor amendment, and it is not something like I made up. Self-directed learning and self-directed training is something that is, a part of training programs all over.
Mr. Supervisor, may I make a comment?
Yep.
I hope that everyone on the dais will continue to seek out training beyond whatever is required. I think that's part of our responsibility to this community. So I hope that we all find lots of creative ways to train. I think the idea here is that coming from the supervisor and the town attorney, we can have some directive to some very specific training each year, because it's a changing world. and none of us has a crystal ball. And so we might need to learn about something this year that'll be entirely different next year. So I hope we all continue to find lots of expressive ways to get training, but I think this is just a core element of getting us there. Thank you.
Mrs. Supervisor, I have one more comment, kind of
Sure.
point of clarification, not so much for myself, but for those who are listening. Andrew, my understanding is that while we're putting this into the town code, there is no ramifications for someone who does not receive training. We can't impose this, am I correct?
Yeah, and just to put some color on that, you know, the town board is the elected body of the town, the legislators. If a town board member kind of shirks this obligation, the only recourse I think would be at the voting booth. That's something that the voters would have to decide is significant enough of a violation to warrant voting someone out. But I don't see any mechanism by which failing to attend a training would have any kind of removal or impeachment consequences.
Thank you, Andrew. That's the point I was getting to. I wanted to make sure that the voters know that when it comes to the 5 board members up here, we ultimately respond to them, and we're responsible to them. And so if someone does or does not get training, it does not assert their authority to remove us or to vote us back in. I go to training annually several times, so this is a piece of cake to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So just a couple other comments. Town Ethics Code has not been updated since the early 1990s, so you can see the importance of this. And Peter, as far as your concerns, I'm all for getting everybody's opinion and thoughts on training every year, and look forward to those discussions. So this is not thought of as a heavy hand of the supervisor and the town attorney. So maybe with my way of thinking, of always thinking of team and group thinking, might be a little different than some others. So with that, I'd like to take a motion to close the public hearing. Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this hearing is now closed. All right, well, Madam Clerk, could you move on to the public hearing, or to public hearing item for board action?
All right. Authorizing the adoption of a local law to improve the ethics law of the town of Arundequoit.
Okay, motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
We are voting on
Are we doing it as amended or as written?
As written.
as written. So
Yep.
we can always amend it at another date.
That was my understanding. If the board wanted to actually adopt formal amendments, it would push the adoption date until March. So it's up to the board if it thinks that the self-directed training issue is significant enough to delay another month. It could table.
I make a motion that we delay it another month so we can have the amendments that Peter has suggested added in, so we can have a clean bill a clean resolution
Andrew,
before
I
the
think we
public.
might have a vote on the table right now.
Yeah, we got a vote here.
That's right, but this would be considered a subsidiary motion, so since it's a motion to amend, we should take that up first and see if there's a second and majority vote for that, and if not, we can return to the main motion. So I think we have to take up the subsidiary motion first. We have a motion to amend. Any second?
I guess if I had it known because I did bring this up at the workshop meeting, and basically the exact very same thing, and I guess I would have appreciated the fact that we were not going to have the option to amend it at this meeting. It would delay it another month, because we did have the consideration of this at the workshop.
And I'll just say, the workshop meeting was 7 days ago, and municipal home rule law requires bills to be on members' desks 10 days in advance. So even if we'd made the change on the 8th, we would have had to delay the vote till March. So I think we still need a second on the subsidiary motion to amend, if there is one. Subsidiary motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, call the vote on the subsidiary motion to amend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Nay? Okay, opposed?
Subsidiary motion fails. We can return to the main motion to adopt the local law. Do we have a motion and a second?
We have a motion, do we have a second?
We have a second.
Yep.
Motion and second.
Okay.
We can call the vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
Nay.
Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, could you please call the third public hearing?
Public hearing number 3 on the matter of providing an opportunity for public comment on Arundequoit's Community Development Block Grant Program.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing?
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this hearing is now open. Comp Controller, could you please provide an explanation?
This is an annual process that the town goes through in our CDBG process to allow for public comment on the current programs or the future of the CDBG program.
Okay, thank you. We'll now accept public comment. I'll call the first speaker tonight, Alex Worth.
Going for the record tonight, Alex Worth, 7 Ontario View Street. Yeah, so I'll just rattle off a couple of ideas that I had, and also ideas that were given to me by neighbors and folks who live in Arundequoit. The first one is, I wasn't sure about the history behind the Lake Ontario State Parkway Trail and the Seneca Trail, but as it stands right now, that those two trails are separated by a CSX right-of-way almost in their entirety. And I'd love for the town to look into if we've visited this topic in the past and seeing how feasible it would be to connect those trails. In theory, if those were connected, you could go all the way from downtown and make it to Seabreeze almost entirely off of public roads. I'll just list off the others bullet point style. Spray parks. I think we only have one spray park right now in the town of Arundequoit. I'd love to see additional spray parks in the town. These next ones may or may not fall under the current Arundequoit Home Improvement Program that was, I think, traditionally included in the CDBG money in the past. But galvanized water line grants for houses, specifically in block grant areas. Grants for rain gardens in order to prevent people from having their stormwater go into the combined system in the town. Decreasing impervious pavement areas in town, a community greenhouse, or greenhouses plural, pre-K scholarships for folks that are living inside the confines of specific CDBG grant locations, formation of a land bank. Councilman Freeman had suggested, I think at least in the first phase of the Urban League money, that was supposed to be housing counseling, at least in part. This is an area where that could potentially come into play, and maybe she would like to work with them in order to bring a proposal forward for the CDBG block grant money. A financial and an environmental evaluation for townwide refuse. Various clubs like sailing and crew to capitalize on the river and the bay and the lake being on three sides of our community. The church on St. Paul, St. Thomas. I think that church has gone through a couple of rounds of potential development, but hasn't quite made it there yet. And that could be a good time right now to get some funding in order to make that a feasible project instead of having it sit vacant. Placemaking at Pattonwood and Thomas. I don't think there's anything right now as you come over the bridge from the city into the town of Arundequoit. It's just a big, I think, 4-lane or 5-lane road, and there's nothing announcing that you're coming into Somerville or Arundequoit. I'd love to see some neighborhood association quarterly mailing budgets. I know that the town's going to be sending some newsletters, but I think it would also make a lot of sense for strong neighborhood associations to have support, and specifically for seniors and other folks who don't have internet access. We at Somerville, we had, I think, one round of mailings last year, and our attendance was probably 10 times what it usually is. So I think it really helps. Utility bill grants, I think for folks that qualify in the specific CDBG areas. I know that there's been a lot of articles lately, and I know my utility bill was twice what it usually is last month. So I think there could be some immediate help we could potentially tee up for next year on that front. And then 50/50 grants. The city of Rochester does a lot of these pretty much all year, every year, for small businesses for equipment and security and lighting and things like that. The one downfall they had was the amount of paperwork and rigmarole that you had to go through in order to qualify for it. And I'd love to see the town of Arundecoit kind of grab that that process and streamline it, make it easy for small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. I think Alex, we do have a copy of that. Alex, you emailed that, right, to?
Yeah, I can send you a couple ideas from friends. So.
Okay, yeah, if you could send that, and I'll share that with the board. Okay.
Thanks, Alex.
We'll call our second speaker tonight, Jeff Goldblatt. Just state your name and address when you get there.
Jeff Goldblatt, 128 Parkside Crescent. I am a founding member and co-chair of the HIP group, helping Arundecoit Plan for Progress, now entering our 24th year of success. I'm a last-minute substitution because my very esteemed co-chair, Mrs. Ann Burns, couldn't be here this evening. She's in a walking boot. So my health and safety tip for this evening, don't worry about masks. Have cleats on your feet and you won't slip and fall. Also, since my comments are public works related, and since the board didn't acknowledge this, the town made history by appointing the first female commissioner of public works, to the best of my knowledge. So I just wanted to note that. This concerns a missing and pretend sidewalk on Titus Avenue between Hudson and the lighted ingress-egress to Arundecoit Plaza, and as part of the master plan adopted originally in 2013 by a prior town board. HIP was approved by the town in 2020 for a partial build-out of the existing sidewalk that's there in front of the 563 building. Skipping the long history, in April of last year, 2021, the final plans were reviewed by the town and the former commissioner and sent to the county for permitting. In September of 2021, the permitting process was continuing, and as I understand it, Labella had a chance to take a look at the plans that were drawn up and came up with two very interesting concepts for how this could be remedied. There is no sidewalk heading east to west from Hudson Avenue by the gas station, and most importantly, by the what's now known as the Arts Center. There's a partial sidewalk that's there and has been there for quite some time. And you will note as recently as this past Saturday, there has been a wall of snow. The tenants in the 563 building are unable to walk through. This is a designated school route, and for other folks, you can't get through. As I understand it, in fact, I saw somehow or another, and there was quite a lot of snow, this area was dug out, I believe, this past Saturday. The original cost that we had and was approved under the original CDBG proposal we put in was for $20,000. Labella has now jumped up that cost to $90,000, so we're asking for a complete build-out to go from the Hudson Avenue intersection to the lighted ingress-egress at Arundecoit Plaza for an additional $70,000, and according to Labella, the total cost is $90,000, and so we wanted to see if this can be amended to have this finally done, because there is no sidewalk in this area. The gas station built out to the concrete curb, and the 545 building owner also paved out to the concrete curb, so there is no sidewalk in this area for kids, big kids like me, etc. So that is already been partially approved. We want to see that expanded. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Does anyone else wish to speak? All right. Anybody have any questions, comments? take a motion to close this, public hearing?
Mrs. Supervisor, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I do
sorry.
have a,
That's okay.
question. Is it possible, seeing that we didn't have much folks in here, that we hold this over one more meeting, or Diana, do you need it closed to do what you need to do?
I'm sorry, I honestly don't know. Barb Johnston is here from Labella. She may have a better idea.
Ms. Johnston, could you approach the lectern, please? State your name and address, please.
Good evening, Barbara Johnston, Labella Associates. Not the design people. I advise this town on their CDBG grant eligibility and so forth. So this purpose of this public hearing is to give an opportunity to comment on the town's CDBG progress, as well as ideas for future grants. There's no requirement from HUD or the regulations of how you conduct it. So it's really up to you whether you want to, encourage more. But I guess our process is that there'll be an opportunity for people to submit proposals, and that's already scheduled for later this month or early next month, right? So, we're always looking for the best way to get the word out and to get people to comment. So this was one way. So it's really up to you whether you think it deserves more time. But also the applications are going to be out, the request for proposals, so that'll be something that'll be also publicized.
Okay.
So I guess that's it. It's really up to you and whatever works best.
Thank you.
And I'll just say this public hearing was properly noticed, so it's up to the board. We have a main motion to close the public hearing. We have a subsidiary request, I don't know if it's been moved yet, to hold the hearing open. Councilmember Freeman, do you want to formally move to hold the hearing open?
I want to formally move. I just think it's, considering that it's February, and I know how cold February is, that we give folks another opportunity to give their input. And if by next month they don't, from what I'm hearing from the representative from Labella, it won't hurt anything to offer them that opportunity. I just like to hear a little bit more voices. So I make a motion that we hold it over until March.
Do we have a second?
Can I just ask a question? So are we still able to accept applications and stuff during this time if it's open? Okay.
So Diana, what's the time frame for getting the applications out and returned?
The applications are out. That was in the public notice that went out for this hearing. So the applications are out. They're due back the first week in March. I want to say March 6th, but I may be incorrect on that date. We have a meeting scheduled to review those mid-March, and we have the the CDBG committee meeting set up for April tentatively.
So there would be overlap, and any other comments if there's always room to comment on past performance, and that's always welcome. But as far as the new projects, we really have to follow that time frame. Not that there's the final deadline is submitting the annual plan to HUD, which is due in the middle of June. The town board typically has a public hearing on the proposed annual plan at its May meeting, and that's why we work back from that to give time for the agencies to propose projects and review them. But as far as feedback, which is also the other purpose of this public hearing, that's certainly welcome at any time, and it doesn't even require a public hearing, but this is an extra way to get the word out and give opportunities.
Okay. I just see it as an opportunity for us to allow the public to be a part of this process. Everybody up here, sitting here, knows we hear that we never heard this has happened, and I just think if we do it one more time, particularly given the weather, we might get input.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, I have a question for the comptroller. How many times in a year do we give the public an opportunity to give us feedback or to comment?
Regarding the CDBG, this is once a year, but of course, as Barbara said, it's always open. The meetings are every month with the board. It can be public input. There's always an opportunity to speak about the program.
So even if we were to move forward, there still continues to be an opportunity, as Barb said, for any comments and questions and things.
The town has an adopted citizen participation.
Ms. Johnston, just wait to be recognized by the supervisor.
Go right ahead, sorry.
My apologies. Thank you. the citizen participation for the plan requires 2 public hearings a year. So this one is really more open, and the one in May is focused on the annual plan. But as you know, the website has, you know, you can contact Diana or anybody at the town for more information at any time.
And Barb, this hasn't changed at all in the last several years. This has been the process?
Correct. About 4 or 5 years ago, the town added a second public hearing. So they added this public hearing to make that available as a kind of a check-in halfway through.
Thank you.
You know, can I comment? I think folks out there have enough information out there to make a comment in the next month or so on this. I think, you know, they can comment anytime they want. I think a public hearing's okay. We didn't have a lot of people here. We just had a few, but I think if we don't have another public hearing, there's still going to be plenty of time and plenty of opportunities for people to comment on this too. So, you know, that's my opinion on this. But I don't want anybody to think people out there don't have a chance to comment or make their comments on this, because they do. There's plenty of time. And we did, Barb, I'm glad you mentioned that. We did I remember adding this public hearing right here from what we used to practice before. So thank you for bringing that up.
So even if we close the public hearing, it doesn't mean we're not getting more comment.
I understand that, Peter. I just wanted to offer it one more time in case someone is looking here. It's always good to give folks an opportunity to speak. But if everyone does not want it, that's fine.
I think we can encourage people to contact, you know, my office or, you know, in the meantime. So, obviously I'll pass any, information that I receive onto the board, and, perhaps we can communicate it to the public to reach out and, make their voice heard.
Okay, so unless Councilmember Freeman is withdrawing the subsidiary motion, we still need a second on the motion to hold over. And motion fails for lack of second. We can now return to the main motion to close the public hearing to accept comments on the CDBG grant program.
Okay, I'll now take a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
Second? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Okay, this hearing is now closed. There's no resolution to accompany this public hearing, so I'll now ask Madam Clerk to please move on to the 4th hearing.
Public hearing number 4 on the matter of adopting a proposed local law to authorize tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this hearing is now open. Okay, Amy, could you please provide an explanation?
So this public hearing is regarding authorizing a law for us to offer an exemption to volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers who live in the town of Arundecoit and volunteer in the town of Arundecoit. This would offer a 10% exemption from regular town taxes to those who are eligible for the exemption. The county has already passed their version of this and will allow for 10% savings on the county taxes for those living in Arundecoit and volunteering in Arundecoit. This exemption was proposed at the state level as well, so that to try to encourage volunteerism and to reward volunteerism within the community. And I hope that you'll support it and that the public supports it.
Okay, thanks, Amy. We'll open it up to public. Alex, you are written on this one. I assume this is the public input from Winterfest and everything else, so you are not speaking on this one.
Correct, thank you.
You sure you don't want to come up and make it a? All right. Anybody else like to comment? All right. Anybody on town board like to comment?
I just want to thank Amy for her work on this. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
I think this is an excellent modification to our real property tax code. So.
Yeah, and you know what, and if it helps to bring some volunteers in, that's great, you know, to all the volunteers out there, thank you for what you do. If this helps a little bit, I know nationally, I think it's tough to get volunteers, so if this helps a little bit, I think it's, very good, and like I said, the county's passed it, I'm in full support of this resolution, so thanks, Amy, for all your work as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'll second Peter and everyone else's comments and just say thank you to all of our firemen, volunteer and full-time. So they do a great job. So I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, this hearing is now closed. Madam Clerk, could you now move on to public hearing item for board action?
Yes. Adopting a proposed local law to authorize tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Amy, you're good, I assume, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. This concludes our hearings. We'll now return to the agenda. Madam Clerk, could you please read the next item for board action?
Item number 16, authorizing the use of revenue recovery funding for the purchase and upgrading of street lighting facilities.
Okay, is this Diana or Aaron? Diana?
Thank you. This resolution will authorize the use of ARPA revenue replacement funds, in an amount not to exceed $3,076,000 for the purchase and transition of the street lights to LED lighting. Using the ARPA revenue recovery funds will result in no cost to the residents of Arundequoit for the purchase or for any portion of this project.
Okay, sorry, I skipped over the motion. So motion,
Moved.
second.
Second.
Okay, any board members have any comments, concerns?
Mr. Supervisor, I just wanted to thank you for picking up the ball on this. I know the previous administration kind of started this project. Thank you for championing it at home.
Thank you.
I think this is a really good use, and Diana, thank you also, and Rory to continue this. I think this is a good use of our funds for picking this up and taking it like this, so it won't be any cost, and we don't have to bond and all that. So this is good. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the work.
I think this can be a real improvement to the streetscape and an ongoing betterment of our utility costs, so I think this is phenomenal.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next one.
Item number 17, authorizing the Director of Personnel to attend the Human Resources Eastern Region Training Forum in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Moved.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, Jason?
Thank you. As you may recall, I've attended the international events, training forums with the IPMA in the past. As a board member now in the Eastern Region, I'm seeking your approval to attend the Regional Training Forum in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And there is funding for this in the 2022 HR budget.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this motion has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 18, calling for a public hearing on the matter of authorizing a right of entry agreement with Greenlight Networks to install fiber optic cabling and equipment at the Arundequoit Community Center.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Kevin?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This will authorize Greenlight to put in a network hub at the new community center that will cover roughly 6,000 homes. A good portion of those homes will be going up the North Goodman corridor to an underserved community, giving them low-cost, high-speed internet. Also, it will provide no-cost internet for most of the town facilities throughout the town that we will be able to leverage for a great deal of savings for the years to come.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
I'll just comment, Mr. Supervisor, this resolution calls a public hearing for the franchise agreement with Greenlight. It doesn't formally approve it just yet.
Gotcha, okay. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item?
Item number 19, authorizing attendance to the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Seminar.
Okay, Chief?
Motion made.
Oh, sorry, motion?
Moved.
Second? Okay, Chief?
Thank you. So the resolution before the board would allow for me to attend FBI training for executives of police agencies. The executives come from all over the country. It was a nomination by the FBI Buffalo Field Office. It's a 2-week program. First week is in Fredericksburg, Virginia, in April, and the second week is in August in Virginia as well.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
You know, I mentioned this at our workshop the other day. I know Chief really isn't talking about it, but this isn't. They don't give these out to everyone. So I think really good job, Chief. I know that it takes a lot of hard work to get FBI to notice you and get you out to their training. So good job, and I think we all should appreciate our Chief and the hard work he does. And this is a telling tale of how good of a job he does. So good luck, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Chief. This is a big honor for both you and the town, so great job. Anyone else?
Ditto.
All right. All right, I'll ask for all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, please move on to the next.
Number 20, declaring certain equipment as surplus equipment.
Okay, I'll take a motion to accept.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Aaron?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize the surplus of various items located within the former facility of the community center at Pine Grove. Upon approval of this resolution, these items would be put on municipal online auction, likely at the end of this month or beginning of March.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
No, we got a lot of chairs to get rid of. Okay, good luck.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 21, renewing refuge services for various town of Arundequoit facilities.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Aaron again.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize another 1-year extension for refuse and recycling handling at various town facilities, Camp Eastman, Town Hall campus, for another year with waste management.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, this resolution is adopted. Next item.
Item number 22, authorizing the acceptance of grant funding from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York.
Okay, Aaron?
Motion.
Oh, sorry, motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Aaron?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution would authorize the supervisor to sign the grant disbursement agreement and all related documents to go forward with the procuring the funds back from the project that we did at the public safety building for perimeter security fencing, access control, and security cameras.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item number 23, authorizing contract with referees for winter-spring 2022 Adult Basketball League.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Katrina?
Yes, thank you. Our department plans to begin a basketball league this spring, and we're in need of referees, so we got 3 quotes, and Rock Sports provided us with the lowest quote. The referees are paid for with budgeted funds in 2022, but also offset by league fees paid by participants.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just a comment to Katrina. Does the team's looking for another player? If so, I recommend you.
No, we're good.
All right. So, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution adopted. Next item.
Item number 24, authorizing the supervisor to authorize the athletic field fee schedule.
Okay, motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Katrina again?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The fee schedule for our athletic field rentals hasn't been reviewed since 2018. So this resolution proposes a consolidated fee schedule for rentals, mainly for our non-resident user groups, as resident user group stays free for rentals, other than our a slight increase in the cost of security and parkers, which does pertain to our resident user groups. But other than that, we've just consolidated the fees and become more in line with other towns and what they charge for their field usage.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item 25, authorizing the supervisor to enter and amend various contracts with vendors for youth, family, and senior recreational programming for winter, spring 2022.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Katrina again?
This resolution is in addition to the December resolution where the contractors' names were brought forward. We've added 2 additional instructors that are interested in offering programs to our community, so this just adds them to the list of contractors.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item 26, authorizing the supervisor to enter into various contracts with independent contractors from local Beat 90 for staffing and parking personnel, day-overnight supervisors, ticket takers, and ticket sellers for McAvoy Park, Camp Eastman Sports Fields, and various town special events.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Katrina?
Thank you. This annual resolution brings forward the names and information of the individuals that we typically use for the things that were listed in the introduction of the resolution. And all of the names and contact information and wages are included in your packets. These are budgeted funds for 2022.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 27, authorizing execution of letter agreements with town engineer to provide day-to-day planning assistance and to review the town's planning services.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, this is regarding Labella. This is 2 different items. One is the review of the town's planning services with ceiling of $10,000, and the other one is day-to-day planning, which is $110 an hour. On the request of from the workshop, we did get an estimate from the community development group, who estimated cost to be as low as $16,000, and depending on use. So, any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Mr. Supervisor,
Yep.
I have to abstain.
Okay, thank you. All right, this resolution has been adopted. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 28, authorizing town board members to attend the Association of Towns annual training.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, this just gives approval to, for town board members to receive training and paid for by the town out of the supervisor budget. Any questions, concerns? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution has been adopted. Next item.
Item 29, allocating revenue recovery funding for the printing and mailing of a townwide newsletter.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, this is for our biannual newsletter. We did get quotes between $7,000 and $9,000, and looking for more ways to communicate with more residents who don't have access to internet or social media. Any questions or comments?
I have a question, Mr.
Yes.
Supervisor. Just wanted to make sure, have we contacted our state rep to find out if this, I know there's 4 areas for the American Rescue Plan. Have we gotten it confirmed by a consultant that this, or the state rep assigned to us, that this meets that bill?
Okay, Diana, do you wish to comment on that? Or Andrew, sorry.
I think we put all ARPA proposals to our consultant. I will say that under January 6, 2022 final rule issued by the Department of Treasury, the United States Department of Treasury, the first $10 million of ARPA funding can be used for revenue recovery purposes and can be used for any governmental purpose. So I'm not sure if the consultant has specifically weighed in, but I suspect it has.
Does that, Andrew, does that cover things that have been, so I understand the recovery, but this is something that we have not done in a while. Will that still cover it? And did anyone contact, I know there are state representatives assigned for each town regarding the American Rescue Plan program and how it's going out. So I'm just asking that for clarity for myself.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I will say that this use of the resources does comply with the January 6th final rule issued by the Department of Treasury.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay, resolution has been adopted. Next item?
Item number 30, approving this special event license for Shamrock Jack's Restaurant to conduct their annual St. Patrick's Day Festival.
Okay, motion to adopt?
Moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay. Barb,
Okay, thank
want to
you.
give?
This is an annual event. They've held it for many years. It's very popular. The approvals have all been given, and we're just waiting. It starts March 12th and goes to the 17th.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? No, I just, we'll jump on what I said at the workshop is this is great that this is coming back and supporting a small business here in town. So I'm excited that that this is coming back. So anything else?
No, good.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, that concludes our items for board action tonight. So we'll conclude our meeting.
Yep, I'll just, Mr. Supervisor, I've, to the extent the board's done with its paper packets, they contain confidential information. I'd recommend that they turn them in for destruction and not retain confidential information. And that's my only comment before a motion to close.
Okay, I'm gonna take a motion to close our meeting.
Moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this concludes our meeting. Thank you.